Right. So the first amendment that we discussed it was regarding the SA 450 evaluation of misstatements identified during the audit, wherein basically four additional terms have been now what you say discussed over there. Clearly trivial, factual misstatement, judgmental misstatements, and the projected misstatements. Okay. Right. So now coming to the next set of amendments, that is the 800 series. Right. So SA 800, 805, and 810. Right, so in CA final now we have these 10 standards, which are relatively more important from the total 46 standards applicable for your exams. Right, so out of that, 3 are the standards in the 800 series, 800, 805, 810. Then 2 standards in the SRE series, that is SRE 2400 and SRE 2410. Right, then 3 standards in the 3400 series, 3400, 3402 and 3420. And then last 2 standards in the standards on related services, that is the SRS 4400 and the 4410. Right, so this 800, 2400, 3400 and 4400 series, right, these 10 standards, like I can say 800 series, at least question coming in the exam, 2400 series, right, that is the standards on review engagement, at least one question. Then assurance engagement, at least one question. And related services, again, at least one question. So even if I say at least one question, like, on an average, that question could be of, 4 to 5 marks. And so even if they ask 3 out of these, it could be coming down to, 4, 4, and 4. That is 12 marks over there. And apart from that, there would be questions in the MCQ part of the paper also. And so it will be a very effective study planning. I'm giving you some very golden words of advice over here, that it would be a very effective strategy or a very effective way to study if you first ensure that you have a good command over these 10 standards, right? The 800 series, 2000, 3000, and the 400 series. 4000 series. I'm so sorry. Yes, 800, 2400, 3400, and the 4400 series. Yeah, other I do know because I've been teaching since September 2009, ages back, that over a period of time, any standard can like just pop up in your exam question paper, and then we say, oh ma'am, oh 40 very important. Obviously, ma'am, essay 570 going concern कितना आता है मैम क्वेश्चन नंबर 1 in the exam. मुझे तो पता ही है कितना आता है. Okay, right. Then essay 505 which is regarding external confirmations. Then 620 auditors expert. फिर बोलते हैं मैम आजकल तो ये लोग बड़ा पूछते हैं मैम 250 भी. Consideration of laws and regulations. वो नोकलार आ गया ना ethics में. वेटेज बढ़ गया. है ना. फिर उसके अलावा मैम 540 अकाउंटिंग एस्टिमेट. भाई तुम लोग एनालिसिस कर रहे हो कि एग्जाम के लिए प्रिपेयर कर रहे हो, है ना, कि तुम्हें ऐसे क्या 18 पे जैसे शेयर प्राइसेस का कंपनी के परफॉर्मेंस का एनालिसिस होता है, वैसे तुम क्वेश्चंस का एंड चैप्टर्स का एंड स्टैंडर्ड्स का एनालिसिस करते हो. उससे अच्छा थोड़ा पढ़ भी लो, है ना. एग्जाम ओरिएंटेड पढ़ना है. एग्जाम ओरिएंटेड पढ़ने के तरीके क्या होते हैं? सबसे पहले covering the entire syllabus and conceptual understanding. Conceptual understanding के बाद next part आती है for you to be able to write in the exam. जो भी समझा है वो समझा है. ये जो कम्युनिकेशन का ब्रिज आप डेवलप करना पड़ेगा. अगर तुम्हें कितना ही अच्छी से समझा हुआ है, बट अगर आप एग्जामिनर को नहीं कन्विंस कर पाए, तो गई भैंस पानी में. I know that would be the type of situation over there. So please, have an absolute focus. Don't have a tick in the box approach or just, a 2-hour dedicated approach or 4-hour dedicated approach or 12-day dedicated approach for audit. No, that is just secondary. So what is output? Primary is that your performance is in the exam. Are you doing the things which you have always been avoiding or which you don't like or which you find difficult? Do that. Then life will become easy if you do the difficult things right now. Okay, right. So, the 800 series, these 10 standards, I would suggest you, golden words of advice, that you study them, properly, thoroughly. You look into the question bank, look into the MCQs for the same. Right? Then apart from that, what you also do, you look into the bank audit, NBFC, due diligence, investigation, forensic accounting, internal audit, digital auditing, assurance, group audit, ये जो सारे बाकी audits and other audits, you study those chapters properly, like PSU audits and emerging areas, ESG, SDG assurance, and so. And then goes between you have to complete the study of the ethics also in installment, है ना? क्योंकि जैसे मैंने बताया ये 10th के अराउंड 3 से 4 क्वेश्चंस आते हैं, एथिक्स के भी अराउंड 3 से 4 क्वेश्चंस एग्जाम में आते हैं, है ना? तो वो अगेन दैट कवर्स 12-14 मार्क्स ऑफ योर सिलेबस इन द एग्जाम, है ना? तो एथिक्स मतलब ऐसे इट शुड बी ऑन द टिप ऑफ योर टंग कि इफ एनीबडी आस्क्स यू व्हाट इज 612, व्हाट इज 611, इसे मैम एक तो आप पूछते हो नहीं तो इंस्टीट्यूट पूछती है, इसके अलावा हमें ऐसे क्वेश्चन तो हमें ही दिया हुआ है ना वो रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी, है ना? तो 122 है ना, contravenes any of the provisions of the act, regulations made there under or the guidelines issued by the council. 1011 charges or offers to charge, accepts or offers to accept in respect of his professional employment any fees which are based on percentage of profit or which are contingent upon the results of his finding or of such employment except as permitted under the regulations under the act. What does except as permitted under the regulations under the act? Auditor of a cooperative society, valuer for direct taxes and duties, certain management consultancy services, certain fundraising services, cost optimization services, debt recovery service, any other service or audit as may be decided by the council. That is acting as insolvency professional and NA to NA, non-assurance services to the non-audit client. And ऐसे ethics तुम्हारे, ethics, it should be absorbed by you completely. Right? So you look into ethics, you look into the chapters, and then the case studies, and then the different, what you say, indirect questions, like the case study format questions coming in the exam. Like, if they ask a question on, what are the principles of propriety audit, that's a direct question. You clearly only have to write out the principles of financial propriety, what are the functions of the propriety auditor, what are the problems in propriety audit, what are the areas covered in comprehensive audit. वो specific answer आपको वहाँ case study, that National Green Tribunal, and why laws have been violated, and then there is a going concern issue, and directors have left the company. Now, right, so case study, yeah, there is an inherent element of the subjectivity over there. You have to work, a separate skill set is required for writing those sort of answers. But yeah, when it comes to these direct questions, you study what is given in the book, you write that exactly, and you get the wonderful marks in the exams. Okay, right, but obviously we cannot all our eggs in one basket. We have to do the diversification of portfolio. Right? So you cannot rely only on the ethics and only on standards. लेके तो सबको ही साथ में चलना है. And that is the approach which is required to be followed. Right? So I know I have recording this particular video for discussing the amendment number 2, which is regarding the SA 800. But मैंने सोचा थोड़ा, let me just check your alignment and context of your studies. Okay. Right. So now coming to the amendment 2, which is regarding the SA 800. Right, special considerations, audits of financial statements prepared in accordance with the special purpose framework. Right, so one, we have the GPF, that is general purpose framework. Like, every Indian company, obviously, it will prepare financial statements as per accounting standards and Schedule 3. उसमें क्या बड़ी बात है? So that's a general purpose framework, and financial statement prepared accordingly will be called as the general purpose financial statements. Whereas special purpose framework, that means now the financial statements are being prepared only for a specific set of the intended users. And they are only prepared for the specific set of the users. Here they were prepared for the common users, for the broad range of users, not for any particular set of people. That was general purpose framework. Whereas special purpose framework, when the financial statements are being prepared only for a specific set of users, then obviously these financial statements will be called as the special purpose financial statements. Right? Special purpose financial statements. Like, say, company Geo Limited has entered into an agreement with Rio Limited. And now, as per the provisions of this contract, the financial statements are required to be prepared. Right, so now, when the financial statements are being prepared as per the provisions of a contract, then that is not a general purpose framework. It is as per the terms and conditions of that contract. So obviously, that's a special purpose framework. Say, when the financial statements are being prepared to meet the requirements of a specific regulator. Like say company is also listed on the US stock exchange. So that is why to comply with the US stock exchange requirement, the US GAAP financial statements are being prepared. Right? So to meet the requirements of the regulator. Or say RBI has given some format, SEBI has given some format. So that's a special purpose framework, right? As per the requirements of a regulator. Or say the financial statements are being prepared to meet the requirements of a creditor. Like creditor is saying, oh my God, why they are not paying my money? Where is the money of the company going? So he says, I want the receipts and disbursement details of the company to be prepared and audited. So receipts and disbursement details which are prepared for the creditor, that's again an example of a special purpose framework. Right, so the bottom line, when will you say that these are special purpose framework? When the financial statements are being prepared only for a specific set of users. They are not for the common users, not for the broad range of users. Then it is called as a special purpose framework. Okay, right. And all these standards in the 800 series, that is 800, 805 and 810, we talk about three parameters. What are the three parameters? APR. What do you mean by APR? What are the considerations while accepting an engagement to audit the financial statements prepared as per special purpose framework? Then what are the considerations while planning and performing the engagement to report on the special purpose framework? And then what are the considerations for the auditor while forming an opinion and reporting on the special purpose framework? So acceptance, planning, performing, and the reporting. These are the three broad parameters on which these standards have been divided. In each of the standards in the 800 series, we have to discuss the acceptance, planning, performing, and the reporting. Okay, before the acceptance, obviously, we first have the discussion regarding what is special purpose framework. We also have the examples of the special purpose framework given over there. Right, so SA 800, what does it say? Audits of financial statements prepared in accordance with the special purpose framework. Okay, right, so what are the three considerations? As I told you, acceptance, planning and performing, and the reporting. Right, acceptance, planning and performing, and the reporting. Right, for purposes of establishing the value of the net assets of an entity at the date of the sale, the vendor and the purchaser may have agreed that very prudent estimates of allowances for the uncollected account receivable are appropriate for their needs. So that is for a specific set of users. Even though such information is not neutral when compared with financial information prepared as per the general purpose framework. Right? So this is for a specific set of users, only for the vendor and the purchaser. Right? So that could be the special purpose framework introduction. Right. Then what does it say? A special purpose framework. Further, it could be a fair presentation framework wherein you express an opinion saying true and fair or present fairly, or it could be a compliance framework wherein you express an opinion saying prepared. Okay. Then what does it say? What for that you have to look into the requirement of that particular framework. Generally, we say balance sheet, statement of profit and loss, cash flow statement, statement of changes in equity, and the summary of the significant accounting policies and the other explanatory information. Okay, right. Now over here they talk about the examples of SPF. Right, so what are the three examples of SPF they have given over here? It is the CRC. One for the creditor, second for the regulator, and third as per the provisions of a contract. It's a little bit this point number one they have amended over there. It's if you have any existing material with you, then you compare it with the amendment notes over here and you will be able to identify हाँ कि ये change है. है ना कि creditor का point उसमें भी है, but there is a change in the content over there. Right, so cash basis of accounting and also the cash flow information that an entity may be required to prepare for its creditors. Financial reporting provisions established by a regulator to meet the requirements of that regulator. Financial reporting provisions of a contract such as a bond indenture, a loan agreement or a project grant. Right. And then it says the SPF is to be distinguished. SPF, the special purpose framework, is to be distinguished from general purpose framework. What does it say? General purpose framework. It is for common financial information of a wide range of users. That is general purpose framework. And what is special purpose framework? If it is only for a specific set of users, then it is the special purpose framework. Right? It is the special purpose framework. And again, what is included in the special purpose financial statements? Obviously, it also includes the related notes. Like balance sheet, P&L, obviously you also always have the notes given along with the same. Okay, right. So this requirements of the AFRF determine the form and content and what constitutes a complete set of financial statements. Okay, right. So that's the introductory part of the SA 800. Now coming to the considerations while accepting the engagement. Then we have the considerations while planning and performing, and then we have the considerations for the reporting. Okay, right. And then that's our discussion for the SA 800. Okay, wonderful. Wow, it's so amazing to look at you sitting straight. Absolutely. If the spinal cord is straight, life is straight. Okay, so sit straight. Right. Wonderful. So now over here talking about the acceptance of the engagement. Like, when we talk about SA 210, agreeing the terms of audit engagement, there we talk about conditions for an audit. 1 plus 5. What is the one giant precondition? Acceptability AFRF, that whether the AFRF, applicable financial reporting framework, which is being used by the management in the preparation of financial statements, is that acceptable to the auditor? If yes, then 5 more other precondition. If not, no discussions further. And then if yes, then we say preparation, presentation management, your responsibility. Internal control management, your responsibility. When I come for audit, tea, coffee, sandwich, ma'am, no tea, coffee, sandwich. Okay, all information, additional information, and unrestricted access to persons with unrestricted access to persons within the entity. Management, your responsibility. Now, so here again, what do we say? The giant precondition while accepting the engagement for a special purpose framework is the acceptability of the AFR. Right, the acceptability of the AFRF. Now, the AFRF. One, it could be defined by the, what do you say, management or by the stakeholders, or it could be given by the laws and regulation. Right? It could be given. So, like creditor, if they want the financial information of a company, then that is not given under any law. It is as per the requirements of the creditor. But if it is as per the requirements of a regulator, then it is given under the law. Right, so acceptability of AFRF, what does it say? That AFRF, one, it could be determined in-house by the management or by the stakeholders, or it could be given in the laws and regulation. Right, or it could be given in the laws and regulation. A regulator may establish the reporting provisions to meet the requirements of that regulator. Right, so obviously, whatever is the requirement of that regulator, that is the acceptable AFRF. But sometimes, it is not given as per it is not given by the regulator. It is not given in the law regulation. It is as per some internal arrangement. And it is also supplemented by some legislative regulatory requirement. Then the auditor has to check whether any conflict exists between the financial reporting standards and the additional requirement exists, and prescribe the action to be taken by the auditor if such conflict exists. Right, so now something is told by law, something is also determined by e-management, and now there is a conflict between the two. Right, so first to determine what actions are to be taken if the conflict exists. Right, like sometimes the financial statements could be prepared as per the provisions of a contract. Right, so there is no regulation which is involved over there. Right, so then again in that case it says you have to check the acceptability of the AFRF. And in the case of a special purpose framework, the relative importance to a particular engagement of each of the attribute normally exhibit by the AFRF is a matter of the professional judgment. So whether the AFRF is acceptable or not, it says it's a matter of the professional judgment for the auditor. Right, so that is considerations while accepting the engagement. What is the crux of the discussion over here? Acceptability of the AFRF. Right, so the AFRF may be given by the law or it may be supplemented by the law. Right, so one, it says it could be given in the law. Second, it says it could be supplemented by the law. Or third, it could be as per the provisions of a contract. And finally, determining the acceptability, it is a matter of the professional judgment. You have to write in the exam what is given in the content over here. You cannot write anything on your own. Okay, so that's first one, acceptance. And now coming to plan. Right, so SA, what I'm discussing right now, SA 800. That means it's in the auditing standard series only. Right, so even though if it is a special purpose framework, do I need to follow SE 300? Do I need to do the audit planning? Yes. Is there documentation to be there? Yes. Is overall objective of are the overall objectives of 200 to be achieved? Yes. So it says auditor, you will comply with all essays relevant to the audit. right? All essays relevant to the audit. And when will you not comply with the requirement of a particular essay? It says one, if the essay is not relevant. Like, you are appointed as a sole auditor. Then is 299 relevant? Joint audit of financial statements? No, it is not relevant. Or the requirement is condition does not exist. Like, in case of comparative information is given, then you need to follow the procedures of 710. But it's only the first year. So obviously no need to follow the procedures of 710. Right? So the requirement is conditional and the condition does not exist. Like, if you're using the work of an expert, then you need to follow 620. Otherwise, no need to follow the 620. Okay, right. So what does it say? One auditor, you are doing an audit only, but only difference now you're doing the audit of the financial statements prepared in accordance with special purpose framework. So in that case, also auditor, do you need to comply with the ERII ethical requirements, including independence? Yes. Integrity, objectivity, professional competence, due care, confidentiality, professional behavior, independence not only of the mind but also the independence of the appearance. Then auditor, should you comply with all essays audit? Yeah, all 38 auditing standards, comply with all unless the essay is not relevant or the requirement is conditional and the condition does not exist. And sometimes, say the essay is applicable, but you are not able to follow those procedures. Like, say, you're not able to follow the procedures of SA 520, 520 analytical procedure. That means you're departing from the requirement of the essay. So in that case, what are the alternative audit procedures to achieve the aim of that requirement? Right, so comply with all essays unless the essay is not relevant or the requirement is conditional and the condition does not exist. Fourth point over there. It says sometimes you are not able to follow the requirements of the essay. That means you're departing. In what as compared to what is told in the essay, then it says you need to perform the alternative audit procedures, right, to achieve the aim of that requirement. Okay. Then, even though if it is a special purpose framework, auditor, do you need to determine auditor, even though if it is a special purpose framework, you have to determine the materiality. Right, so generally for general purpose, we say it is the affects the decision making of the common users. Here it is going to affect the decision making of the intended users, the specific users. Okay. Right. Then one more point regarding the materiality. Like, sometimes the provision of the amount of materiality, the threshold, and the प्रोविजंस ऑफ द कॉन्ट्रैक्ट है ना, कि जो कॉन्ट्रैक्ट के हिसाब से जो फाइनेंशियल स्टेटमेंट्स बनाए जा रहे हैं उसमें मटेरियलिटी का अमाउंट दिया गया है 10 लाख. सो नाउ डज दैट मीन oh, provision of amount of materiality has been given as per the contract, say 10 lakh. So now I don't need to determine materiality as per 320? No. Even though if the threshold of materiality has been given under the special purpose framework, it says it does not relieve the auditor from determining materiality as per SC 320. And so what does it say? Sometimes in the provisions of the contract, the threshold of materiality may be given. But does that relieve the auditor from determining materiality as per SA 320? No, it does not relieve the auditor. So rather, one, you will consider the materiality threshold as given under the contract, and second, the materiality as determined as per SA 320. Both are required to be considered. Okay, right? So that is the next point, right? So the ethical requirements including independence, all essays relevant to the audit. Then it says if an essay is not relevant or the requirement is conditional, you depart. Then what are the alternative audit procedure? Then it says what are the Yes, what does it say? Auditor, you need to determine the materiality as per 320. What if the threshold materiality has been given as per the provisions of the contract? It says still it does not relieve the auditor from determining materiality as per 320. Okay, right. Then as per SA 15, which is identifying and assessing the risk of material misstatement through understanding the entity and its environment. Right, so understanding the entity and its environment, we have to understand external, internal, past, future, accounting system and internal control system. In the accounting system, we have to understand the selection and application of accounting policies. Now here, in the special purpose framework, in the understanding of the accounting system, in the selection and application of accounting policies, now you may have to understand the provisions of the contract. Example, if the financial statements are being prepared as per the provisions of the contract. So now in your KOC, knowledge of the client's business, you'll have to understand the provisions of the contract, right? So that's the next point they are mentioning over there. Yes, so that's the amendment, right? It's in the red and bold over there, right? So that's the amendment. SA 315 requires the auditor to obtain an understanding of the entity selection application of accounting policy. In the case of financial statements prepared in accordance with the contract, the auditor will obtain an understanding of the significant interpretations of the contract the management has made in the preparation of those financial statements. An interpretation is significant when adoption of another reasonable interpretation would have produced a material difference in the information presented in the financial statements. Right? So, whether a provision is to be made or not made, it says there could be a significant difference in interpretation which could lead to a material difference. Right? Which could lead to a material difference. Okay. Right? And the last point over there, what is the last point over there? Okay. We say preparation and presentation of financial statements is the responsibility of the management. And TCWG, who are the highest level of management, they oversee the preparation of financial statements being done by the management. So, who is preparing financial statements? Management. Who oversees the preparation of financial statements? The TCWG. This is true for general purpose framework. But it says for special purpose framework. Okay, financial statements are being prepared as per the provisions of a contract or they are being prepared for a regulator. It says TCWG may not have such oversight responsibility in case of the special purpose financial statements. Right? So, what does it say? TCWG may not have the same responsibility which they have for overseeing the general purpose financial statements. They may not have that oversight responsibility in case of the special purpose financial statements. Right? So, those are the considerations while planning and performing the audit. What are the considerations? One, ethical requirement including independence, comply with all essays. Unless the essay is not relevant, it is conditional. If you are departing, then alternative audit procedures to achieve the aim of that requirement. ये हो गए 2 points. Then after that, next 2 points, you have to determine materiality as per 320. What if threshold of materiality is given in the contract? It does not relieve you from determining materiality as per 320. Then, as per SA 315, when you do the understanding of the entity, selection and application of accounting policy, here you'll have to understand the provisions of the contract and the significant interpretations of the provisions of the contract. And TCWG may not have oversight for the responsibility of the responsibility for the special purpose financial statements which they have in case of the general purpose financial statements. Okay, right. So that is planning and performing. And now coming to the forming an opinion and reporting. It says auditor, now when you have to form your opinion, you have to follow the requirements of SA 700. Right, so form an opinion as per SA 700. Check whether the overall objective of SA 200 has been achieved or not. Right, so forming an opinion has to be done as per SA 700. And now it says in your audit report, it says auditor, the description of the AFRF is required to be given. And in the audit report, yes, in the audit report, it says the description of the special purpose framework, which is the AFRF in this case, is required to be given. Right, so SA 700 requires the auditor to evaluate whether the financial statements adequately refer to or describe the AFRF. Right, what auditor can do? He can either make a reference to the note in the financial statements or he can directly mention about the special purpose framework in his report. Right, so we'll come to that particular paragraph later on, the examples of the emphasis of matter. Right, so SA 700 requires the auditor to check that whether the financial statements adequately refer to the AFRF. If the financial statements are being prepared as per the provisions of the contract, then the significant interpretations of the contract should also be adequately described. Right? They should be adequately described. And now, it says SA 700 deals with the form and content of audit report, including the specific ordering of the certain elements. Like, we have title, addressee, opinion, basis for opinion, going concern, key audit matter, other information, if any, for all three: going concern, key audit matter, other information. Then management's responsibility, auditor's responsibility, other reporting responsibilities, and then signature, place, and date. And so we have the ordering of the elements. Right. So in the case of the auditor's report on special purpose financial statements, number one, The auditor's report will describe the purpose for which the financial statements are being prepared and, if necessary, the intended users. So, in the audit report, the auditor will describe what the purpose for which the special purpose financial statements are being prepared and who are the special people, who are the intended users. Either this the auditor can describe in his report, or he can make a reference to the note where this information is given in the special purpose financial statements. So either you audit report the purpose and the intended users, or you make a reference of the note in the financial statements where the purpose and intended users have been given. Okay, right. Then, if management has a choice of AFRF, like Australian, Hong Kong, Japanese, Korean gap, so many choice of the AFRF in the preparation, the explanation of the management responsibility shall also make a reference to how the management determined that this AFRF is acceptable. So, if the management has a AFRF, how they determine the AFRF that is acceptable is again required to be included in the report. Then, when any key audit matters are to be communicated in the audit report on special purpose, then 701 applies in the entirety. Right, so now you're giving a report on the special purpose framework and you want to put a key audit matter and the matters which are of most significance. So it says 701 applies in the entirety. Right, then 720, it deals with the other information. So key audit matters, now other information. Right, in the context of this essay, report containing or accompanying the special purpose, the purpose of which is to provide the owners with information on matters presented in the special purpose, are considered to be the annual report. So we say financial, non-financial information in the annual report minus the audited financial statements and audit report thereon is other information. Right, so this is the annual report of the company. From that, if I remove the financial statements and the audit report, and now whatever financial, non-financial information is remaining in this annual report, it is called as the other information. Okay, right. So in the case of financial statements prepared as per special purpose framework, the term similar stakeholders, so provide owners, similar stakeholders, includes the specific users. So general purpose, it will be the common users. Here it will be the specific users. Right? Our needs are met by the design of the SPF used to prepare the special purpose financial statements. And when the auditor determines that the entity plans to issue such annual report or so, the requirements of SA 720 applies to the audit of the special purpose financial statements also. So 320 applies, 701 applies, 720 applies. Okay. Then the auditor may deem it appropriate, so may, to refer in the other matter paragraph in the auditor's report on the special purpose financial statement to the audit report on the complete set of the general purpose financial statements. And so any matter which is there in the audit report of the general purpose financial statement, that matter the auditor wants to refer in the audit report of the special purpose financial statements, that can be done in the other matter paragraph. Right, so could it be the same auditor doing audit of GPF, SPF? Yes, it could be same auditor. Could it be a different auditor? Yes, it could be different auditor also. But that general purpose ke report ka some paragraph, can the special purpose auditor make a reference to that paragraph in his report? Yes, in the other matter paragraph. Right? May deem appropriate to refer in an other matter paragraph in the audit report on SPFS to the audit report on the complete set. For example, the auditor may consider it appropriate to refer to the audit report on the related to going concern section included in the audit report on the complete set of the general purpose financial statements. What are they saying over here? Okay, these are general purpose financial statements. This is the independent auditor's report on the GPFS. Title, addressee, opinion, basis for opinion, and say there is a going concern material uncertainty paragraph. Now it says auditor, you are giving a report on the special purpose financial statements, right? So independent auditor's report, right? So that's your title, addressee, opinion, basis for opinion. And now this going concern para, which is there in the audit report of the general purpose financial statements, can an auditor make a reference to that in the other matter paragraph in the report on special purpose? Yes. It's so that reference can come, which is there in the audit report on the complete set of financial statements. A reference to that can be made in the other matter paragraph is deemed appropriate. Right? appropriate. Okay. Right. Then, apart from that, what does it say? Alerting the readers that the financial statements are being prepared in accordance with the special purpose framework. Right, so very important. These special purpose financial statements may be used for purposes other than those which are intended. For example, when they are kept on the public records. So, to avoid any misunderstanding, the auditor alerts the users of the audit report by including an emphasis of matter paragraph explaining that the financial statements are being prepared in accordance with an SPF and they may not be suitable for another purpose. एम्फेसिस ऑफ मैटर पैराग्राफ कि ये खास है, ये स्पेशल पर्पस फाइनेंशियल स्टेटमेंट्स है, दे शुड नॉट बी यूज्ड फॉर एनी अदर पर्पस. And SE 706 requires this paragraph to be included within a separate section of the audit report. Yes, with separate section of the audit report with an appropriate heading that includes the term emphasis of matter. Right, so what is the example of that heading? Example of emphasis of matter, basis of accounting and restriction on distribution and use. And so it says that a term which includes a heading which includes the term emphasis of matter. So emphasis of matter, what does it say? Basis of accounting and restriction on distribution and use. Right. In addition to the alert described above, the auditor may consider it appropriate to indicate that the audit report is only meant for a specific set of the users. Depending on whether law regulation is applicable, this may be achieved by restricting the distribution or use of the audit report. Right? The paragraph alerts the users may be expanded to include these other matters and the heading modified accordingly. Right? So again, is the heading modified accordingly? Yes, restriction on distribution and use. And then they've given an example incorporating the above 2 points. We draw attention to note X, and where the purpose and intended users were given. Right? What did we say over here? Either you write report itself or you make a reference as to where it is given in the financial statements, the purpose and the intended users. Right? So we draw attention to note X, which describes the basis for accounting. The financial statements are prepared to assist the company in complying with the financial reporting provisions of the contract referred to above. Right? So, purpose intended users. As a result, these financial statements may not be suitable for another purpose. Our report is intended solely for the company and DEF company intended users and should not be distributed to or used by parties other than the company or DEF company limited. Right? So, basis of accounting and restriction on distribution and use. Our opinion is not modified in respect of this matter. Yes, I want you to learn this particular drafting over here and also do the writing practice. So immediately at this point of time, I want you to pause the video, pick up the pen, open the notebook and copy paste this paragraph. Sundo. It just copy paste. Very, very essential essence, important content of the SA 800. Right, so yeah, that is our discussion, right? So I've just discussed the amendment part, more or less the entire standard over here. What I want you to do after this, look into the MCQs related to SA 800, look into the theory questions regarding SA 800, do your writing practice for SA 800 so that a comprehensive preparation and ekdam chakmak and entire preparation of the SA 800 is done. Right, so we are on the roll. We've completed with the second amendment. Looking forward to see you all in the discussion for the third amendment. Okay.